I saw Arne Slot set himself apart from every other Premier League manager in February. The Liverpool manager demonstrated a practical approach to navigating 5 Premier League games in just 15 days. As a result, the Reds emerged with an even stronger chance of winning the title, and Slot's reputation has only grown. Arne Slot had been adamant that these 15 days in February wouldn't determine Liverpool's title prospects for the 2024-25 season. He was correct, of course. A 2-week stretch in a 9-month season wasn't going to define where the Premier League trophy would end up, even though that period accounted for 13% of the campaign. Slot believed that the other 87% would ultimately decide who would be crowned champions in May. However, he couldn't have predicted how favorable the standings would look at the end of that grueling stretch. Liverpool was 6 points ahead of Arsenal, with a game in hand, before their rescheduled match against Everton on February 12th. By February 6th, that lead had grown to 13 points. Although Mikel Arteta's team now has 1 less game played. What has become clear over the last 2 weeks is that even if Liverpool were to encounter a crisis later in the season, the teams chasing them do not seem capable of capitalizing. Third-place Nottingham Forest is now 19 points behind the leaders, leaving Arsenal as the only remaining threat. However, Arsenal's lack of attacking power could ultimately derail their title ambitions. While Liverpool gathered 11 points during this period, Arsenal only managed to secure 4. While Slot is correct in saying that Liverpool's title win wasn't secured in these 15 days, it may have marked the point when any hope of a challenge at the top of the table ended. The fact that Liverpool earned 11 points against such tough opposition makes their recent run even more impressive. Everton, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Aston Villa, Manchester City, and Newcastle United were not the kind of matches Slot would have chosen for such an intense period. Ironically, it was against 17th place Wolves that Liverpool looked most vulnerable. These 5 matches presented varied challenges. The Everton game at Goodison Park was a physical, combative contest, where emotional composure was just as crucial as technical ability. Liverpool had to weather the storm against Wolves and grind out a win, while the trip to Villa Park offered an open, intense, and physically demanding encounter. At City, Slot set his team up to counterattack in an unconventional 4-2-2-2 formation, knowing they wouldn't dominate possession. In the final match of the 5, Liverpool excelled at controlling the ball, limiting Newcastle to just 3 shots on goal. This pragmatic approach underscored Slot's coaching expertise and attention to detail. His ability to adapt tactics to the situation at hand is rare among top-tier managers, especially in an era when many elite coaches remain committed to fixed tactical systems. Ange Postecoglou was fortunate not to be let go due to his unwillingness to adjust his aggressive tactics. Russell Martin wasn't as fortunate at Southampton after his determination to play out from the back, and Manchester United fans have been underwhelmed by Ruben Amorim's insistence on sticking with a 3-4-3 formation. Even top coaches like Pep Guardiola and Unai Emery have shown reluctance to stray from their preferred systems this season, with both their teams regressing in 2024-25. But the same cannot be said for Liverpool, who have only improved the longer Slot has had the chance to implement his ideas. At the start of the season, many believed Slot had simply introduced more midfield control and slightly less pressing compared to Jurgen Klopp's philosophy. But that perception has quickly shifted. Slot is now proving, if there was any doubt, that he is among the elite coaches in the game. His tactical adjustments have been clear for months, from dropping Ryan Gravenberch into a hybrid defensive midfield role against Nottingham Forest to using Luis Diaz as a false 9. Additionally, his squad management and ability to bring a sense of calm amid the excitement surrounding the club this season have been crucial. Slot's coaching abilities will face further tests in the coming months, especially as the business end of the Champions League approaches. But that has been the case all season. Every time a challenge has arisen, the Dutchman has found the solution. Paz joined Como under the management of Cesc Fabregas, who took charge after the club's promotion to Serie A. Since his arrival, Paz has flourished in his role as a reliable first-team player, playing an important part in the club's current 13th place position in Italy's top division. According to Graham Bailey of TBR Football, Tottenham Hotspur has started scouting Paz, having tracked the midfielder since his days in the Real Madrid youth system. TBR Football reports that it's unclear if Paz is a top priority for manager Ange Postecoglou's squad. given the presence of players like James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. However, there is clear interest in Paz, who could be a brilliant long-term replacement for Maddison in the future. Fabregas has described Paz as special, as noted by Football Italia. The midfielder was able to leave Real Madrid for a relatively low fee due to Madrid's buyback option, which increases next year and again in 2027. Paz's likely priority, should he leave Como, would be a return to the Bernabeu, but with talents like Arda Güler in the picture, such a move may be difficult. Therefore, Spurs could have an opportunity to sign Paz, who would be a smart acquisition fitting their usual transfer strategy of targeting young players with great potential. Meanwhile, Giovanni Quenda remains high on Manchester United's list for their anticipated summer rebuild. However, according to Fabrizio Romano in his exclusive Give Me Sport newsletter, United has yet to decide whether they need to sell players before they can make a move for the winger. The 17-year-old is a player Ruben Amorim knows well, having given him his debut at Sporting CP at just 17 years old in August of last year. Quenda is one of Europe's most exciting teenage prospects and could reunite with Amorim at Old Trafford, as he has previously praised his former coach as a great coach after leaving Sporting for United in November. Amorim is expected to overhaul the United squad, which has struggled with his methods and three-at-the-back system. The team has faced a significant shortage of wingers, and with players like Antony on loan at Real Betis, Jadon Sancho on loan at Chelsea, and Marcus Rashford on loan at Aston Villa likely to depart in the summer, Quenda's versatility could be crucial. He can play both as a wing-back and further up the field, similar to January signing Patrick Dorg. At such a young age, Quenda would be an addition both for the present and future if he arrives at United, though it's not guaranteed the club will be able to secure the deal. Romano addressed United fans' questions about the club's need to sell before acquiring Quenda, who has an $84 million release clause. Quenda has been a key player for Sporting this season, including in their famous 4-1 victory over Manchester City in the UEFA Champions League in November. Amorim's final game at the club. His profile fits Ineos's new focus on young talent, a shift away from United's usual big-money transfer strategy. Give Me Sport sources suggest that Quenda is eager to move to Old Trafford, given his strong relationship with Amorim. The winger is keen to test himself in the Premier League and could join other promising young talents like Dorgu, 20, Aiden Heaven, 18, Chido Obi, Stini, and Lini Yoro, 19s, who arrived at the club following Ineos takeover. Meanwhile, Aston Villa has reportedly entered the race for Juventus striker Dusan Vlahovic, who looks increasingly likely to leave the Serie A club in the summer transfer window, according to Team Talk. Vlahovic has been with Juventus since 2022, after a move from Fiorentina for just over £66 million. The Serbian international has been a key player for Juve, but hasn't played a full 90 minutes in the league since December. During the January transfer window, many clubs showed interest in the striker, and with Vlahovic's £215,000 weekly salary and contract expiring in 2026, contract negotiations have stalled, with a key point being his willingness to take a pay cut. As a result, his future remains uncertain, and it seems another Premier League club has expressed interest in the forward. According to Team Talk, Arsenal remains a strong contender for Vlahovic as they look to strengthen their attacking options in the summer. Villa, on the other hand, are in need of a striker after selling John Duran to Al Nassr in January. Although Villa secured Marcus Rashford on loan before the transfer deadline, manager Unai Emery has preferred to use the England international in a wide role rather than as a central striker. Given Villa's need for a forward, Vlahovic could be a perfect fit and would signal a strong statement of intent from the club to the rest of the Premier League.